Shalom, Kalrim. Hello, everybody, every peoples. So, Biblical Hebrew Lesson 6, Prepositions. So, our review, as always, will commence. We got the different kinds of definite articles. I mean, they're all the same meaning, it's just different. So, normal. We got the patach under the hay with a dogish forte. With aleph, resh, or rain, we turn it into a kamat, and no dogish forte, obviously, because none of those letters can take a dogish forte, except like resh and aleph actually do have one a few times in the Torah, and that's just, it's not very common, it's weird. Anyway, so a hey, a chef, a yod was specifically a vocal schwa, and a mem was specifically a vocal schwa, will not get a dogish forte, but the patach will remain normal. And lastly, if we have a he, a chef, or a rain, obviously no dogish forte, and we get a sagol. So our example is, hamayim, the water. Haregel, I forgot the first syllable stress. Haregel, the feet or the legs. Hahevel, the smoke or the vapor, and he chacham, the wise person. So also to our wow conjunction, there's a few mistakes I made last time that I would like to apologize for, but our normal has no mistakes. Last time I think I used melech to show what happens for a word with first syllable stress, but the bilabial rule actually overrides that. So, normal is wa, so we have wa adam, the human, and then we have umelech for the king, and that happens with any bilabial sounds, beith, mem, or pe. Before a yod with a vocal schwa, we remove that vocal schwa, and under the wow we get a chirik. So, and Jerusalem, or sorry, not and Jerusalem, and Israel is Wisrael, yeah. And before a syllable with first syllable stress, we get kamat. Again, I think I made a mistake here. I think I accidentally last time said it was a segol. I have no idea why I said that. So yeah, we have wayelev, and a child. And you might have noticed I just wrote some other sentences. It's just because I had extra space. It's fun. You just Batiyef Kanava La'achol Eretz. And Niraisi is Buddy Holly wa after Mary Tyler Moore. Yep, those sure are sentences. Have a fun time not yet knowing the meanings. So, yep, I guess let's just get into prepositions. Okay, a preposition is a word that connects nouns or pronouns to each other, to another word, similarly to an adjective or adverb. I forgot to write or adverb, but it doesn't matter. So I have some English examples, and then about halfway down the page I got bored of thinking of prepositions. So, like in, into, from, outside, to, for, on, below, upon, over, under, beneath, through, inside, throughout, toward, etc., etc., so on and so forth. Oh, what happened to my eraser? Okay, I found it. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Hebrew prepositions. Okay, in Hebrew, the prepositions go before the noun that they are about. I mean, I guess usually prepositions link to nouns, but still, like, it goes before, like in English, like it's in the car, not the car in English. Like, yeah. So, but these ones are prefixes. We got some more Hebrew prefixes. These are probably going to be like your most used prepositions. There's a fourth one I can think of that would be close, that can also be a prefix. Yeah, in Hebrew there are two types of adjectives. Ones that are, I mean not adjectives, prepositions. Prepositions that are separate from the word they're on, and prepositions that are attached. These ones are attached, and there's another one that can be but isn't always. Anyway, so yeah, this one is in or by, it's b, and this one is like as, it's k, and this one is to or for, it's l. And yeah, that's always what they're gonna be. The one that is to can mean like physically moving to. So yeah, and I think you get the point. But let's talk about these. So, normally they do have a schwa, as I've shown, and special case with these, if they go onto a word that starts with a vocal schwa as its first vowel, both of them will be vocal. Both the one in the prefix and also the one in the original word. Yeah. But we're gonna talk about some other stuffs. I keep putting my eraser over here. I have to reach to the other side. So, yeah. So, I've gotten here the word for men, and I forgot the yod, because I'm special. So, anishim, men. So, let's say we want to say like anashim. Okay, let's say we want to say like a man or as a man. Obviously we'd put we'd put k, and normally there's a schwa, but before a reduced vowel, it actually becomes a serol. So we have ke'anashim, like men, or as men. So, also that thing about the schwas that I was talking about, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I say most stuff I say when it's a mistake, because I realized that it's a mistake like 2 minutes later. Anyway, before a vocal schwa, it actually becomes a chirik. So like, let's use my favorite example for a vocal schwa. Yalavim, children. It's not actually my favorite example, it's just the one I always use. If I want to say 4 children, 4 boys, use a chirik. Yeah, li yaladim, 4 children. Although I could have sworn that I did see one time where there was one still with a vocal schwa, but I might just be making stuff up in my mind. I don't know, but I do know for a fact that chirik is what it would have. So, you cannot have a prepositional prefix and a definite article at the same time. You can't have one of the three main prepositional prefixes and a definite article at the same time on a thing, except you can still put one on. And it's simply, you use the prepositional prefix, but you put the vowel that the definite article would use in that case there. So let's say I want to say, in the land. So first we get aret. I know it's normally eret, but with a definite article, it's aret. So, then, we want, well, an inland would be ba'aret, but we want to say in the land. So we have al-kamat, because that's what the definite article would use here. But like if it were to use its normal pafach, then we would use its normal pafach, and we still get the dagish forte where one would be used. Hey guys. So, this is our next preposition we're going to talk about. This preposition is mean, and it's, from or out of, but it can also be a comparison, like it can compare two things, like it can be like more than. Yeah. And also, yes, I am wearing a different shirt. I'm recording this part of the video 5 days later. Don't worry about it. So, anyway. Mean can also be a prefix sometimes, but when it does, it will just be a men with a dagish forte. Oh yeah, and I guess still a chirik. Yeah. So there are some rules about prefixing it. Like, first off, whenever it's not prefixed, it will actually have that thing called a makgeth connecting it to the next word, like say from Bob. Yeah, from Bob would be like that. And again, in some instances that would be more than Bob. So yeah, like, but it will often be this, like, say, yeah, like, Michelev, which is, from a dog. Michelev, yeah. So, we'll put dagish forte in any letter that can take one, obviously. Whether it can take a dagish, we'll just put a dagish forte in any letter that it can. But for the ones that it can't, like say, any guttural, like here, Adam. If we want to say from a human, we would go me'adam. Well, me'adam. With a tzere. And but there is one guttural where it won't become me, and that's chef. Like say, so this is, a wise person. Chacham, that's a wise person. If we want to say from a wise person, we would say Michacham. Yeah, it just Ches keeps the chirik. All other gutturals get tzere. But something strange about it compared to the other prepositions that can be prefixed is it can actually appear with like the full definite article. Like let's say I said haruach. Yeah. So this means the spirit or the wind. If I wanted to say like something like from the wind, I would do the same as before a guttural, because the full definite article can appear, unlike with the other ones, because like the spirit would be uh karuach. Karuach. Yeah. So that's about it for prepositions. Uh, so most of them won't be prefixed, like say one that means on top of. Ral. Ral will still appear with the makgeth attaching it to words, but it won't ever be like a full prefix. And there's also yeah, actually, I'll tell you about the rest of them in vocabulary. Let's talk about a marker. A marker is very similar to a preposition. In fact, this one is often called a preposition. It is the definite direct object marker. So the object of a sentence is the thing receiving the action. Like, let's get an example with Bob again. Bob ate food. Bob ate food. So, in the sentence, Bob ate food, Bob is the subject, ate is the verb, and food is the object. Now, in Hebrew, the object of a sentence will have a marker before it. This is the marker. It's not a prefix, it's its own word. But sometimes instead of eighth, it will appear as F. It's either eighth or F. Yeah. And I'll show you how to use it. I'm gonna have to use some verbs which you haven't learned about yet, but don't worry about it. So, let me think of a sentence. I think I have one. So, actually, how about I just pause the video? Okay, now here talking about grammar. The Hebrew has a kind of free word order. Most of the time it will be verb, subject, object, but it really doesn't matter. So, I have Ahav Ham Melech Sus. Ahav is love, Ham Melech is the king, and Sus is horse. So this translates, the king loves a horse. The one with the definite article is the subject. The one without the definite article is the object. That's how it's gonna go. If there's one that's definite and one that's indefinite, the definite one is going to be the subject. Proper nouns count as definite. But Ahav Melech Hasus, the words are in the same order. I just shift to the definite article. Now it's the horse loves the king. And now I've changed all the word order, and they're both definite. How are we supposed to tell which one is the subject and object when they're both definite? Well, I already told you. You probably shouldn't be asking that question. Anyway, with the definite direct object marker, as long as it is before the direct object, that has the definite article, you just put it before it, and there you go, that's the object. Now we have eighth, hasus, Ahav Hamelech, or the king loves the horse. You know, object marker, the horse loves the king. Yeah. So that's how Hebrew grammar works. Now you can read some sentences, I guess, if you know the verbs, which you don't. Plus, you don't know all the conjugations of verbs. But don't worry about it. We'll get there. To all of the 2 viewers that watch this series. So, yeah. And again, the object doesn't have to be at the beginning of the sentence, obviously, when it has it. Like, for example, just read the first verse of the Bible. Okay, I'm actually glad that I put up this example because it shows a lot of things we were talking about today, and one thing that I didn't mention yet. So we have Genesis 1:1, or in Hebrew, Bereshith achadacha, we have Genesis 1:1, or Bereshith echad echad. You know, so Bereshith bara Elohim ech hashemayim wa ech haaretz, or in an English translation, in pretty much any English version, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Also, even though I wrote the English one smaller, the Hebrew one is shorter, word-wise. Anyway, so we have Bereshith. Ba, as we know, means in. And Reshith is beginning. So, in beginning. There's no definite article on it. Bara is created. Elohim, we know this is gods, plural and all that. But this is a singular verb. I've talked about this before. This is a singular verb and a plural subject, which isn't how things go normally. Anyway, 8th, we got our object marker, Hashemayim. So yeah, we have the heavens, we have the object heavens, and then we have what 8th and direct object marker. That's how it works. You put and on the object marker when you have 2 objects. Haaretz, the land or the ground. I'd translate it. So yeah, there you go. Now it's vocabulary time. Okay, we have a much smaller vocabulary than last time, I believe. So, first off, we have achar, which means after or behind. Sometimes it's spelled like achare. Yeah, and then we have el, which is to, toward, or into. Preposition. Both these are prepositions. Yeah, they're both non-prefix prepositions, except this one still has a mock gif. So we have the direct object marker. We also have the identically spelled 8th, which means with. And actually, for a while, I thought that they were just straight up the same word, and in some context it would be translated with, and in some context it wouldn't be translated at all. But then I realized that with something we'll learn about in a later video, pronominal suffixes, they get conjugated differently, which shows me that they're different words. Anyway, then we have the prefix b, in, by, or against. Actually, also sometimes with, it's sometimes translated with as well. Just physically being in or by. So we got bane, which is between, not to be confused with ben, which is sun. Then we have k, which is like, as, or according to. I realized that on camera my T looks like an R and that I forgot to put a space. It looks like a T in real life though, that's weird. Anyway, kol is all, each, or every. And la is to or for. La is prefix, as you know, we talked about this. Lamaran is on the account of or for the sake of. Min is from, out of, or more than. And maral is on top of, above, or upward. Rav is until or as far as. and ral is on, upon, or according to. The difference between magal and ral is this one is like always seemingly. I should double check this, but this one is like physically being on generally, and this one is just upward in general, I think. I might have that backwards. I shouldn't though, like I do actually read the Bible in Hebrew. So, yeah, and it is according to. Like in English, if if something is on someone, it means they're buying it. In Hebrew, if something is on someone, it means it's on their account. Oh yeah, rim is with, and I will explain the difference between rim and eighth. So, this one, generally, from what I can tell, is more, what do I want to say? I know the difference. I'll pause and think about it. I'll get my thoughts into words. Okay, I got my thoughts into words. So, eighth is generally doing, like, actively doing something with. It's like an active with. Sometimes it gets translated with extra words, like in Genesis 3:1, when Eve says, I've made a man with the help of the Lord. There's no help of in the original Hebrew, it's just eighth. But, eighth means that you're doing something with someone. But rim is just physically with or grouped together with. So yeah, that's the difference. You can do something with someone, or you can be with someone in a parking lot or in a waiting room. Yeah. So, panim is feminine. We have our only noun here. Panim is always plural. It's feminine, and it means face or front. The reason it's here is it does stuff with prepositions that I will show after we're done with the vocabulary. Anyway, tachaf is under, below, or instead of. I always forget that instead of is a translation. So don't forget that. Yeah, so that's the vocabulary. Okay, so this is the word panim with different prepositions on it. The reason that it doesn't have its full plural ending is there's something else we're gonna talk about later called a construct chain that cannot have a full plural ending, just this half kind of a thing. So, lifnei is in the presence of or before, just being and somewhere, because it's to their face. You are to their face. So mispane is from the presence of, it's from their face. Like panim, I guess you could translate presence, I guess, or it's on the account of, because that's also from their face. Anyway, milifne is away from the presence of, also on the account of, just leaving someone's presence in general, just like this one. But, like, I don't know, there's like a slight nuance difference. You'll get it eventually. Yeah, mean can, like, appear on any preposition, by the way. Like, you can have meral, me'eth. You could have, like, mistachaf. They're all what you would expect them to be just from putting them together. Anyway, so ral panei is opposite to or in front of or in the side of. Just you are on their face, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Shalom. God be with ye. And, if you could please do me a favor and do something nice for someone today, that would be great. You can do it. Goodbye.